10 days ago, we got probably the biggest surprise in the market, and that was with Trump launching his meme coin. He launched it on Solana, and this went from pretty much 200 million, I believe, around when it started, all the way up to 75 billion in a matter of 2 days. It's been a pretty crazy time in the market since then, and of course the asset has since retraced. It's down probably about 60% from the top, and we've seen a lot of things happen as well. So in this video, we're going to talk about my thoughts on the Trump and Melania meme coin. We're going to talk about what's been going on in the market as well, and a few things that are catching my attention, and we'll cover the portfolio at the end. So yeah, Trump launched the meme coin. It sucked pretty much the liquidity out of everything in the market, and I think since then, we haven't really had much of a pump in the market, especially when we look at alts specifically. Sure, Bitcoin's a little bit different, but I mean, even the likes of ETH, Sol, and some of the other kind of larger assets have performed quite poorly over the last week or so, and I think Trump really did suck out a lot of liquidity. There's a few takes around this, and we'll talk about this in a moment, whether this was a good event or a bad event. The day after, when basically Trump hit 70 billion, you see this big red candle, where I think the price dropped like 40% in like literally an hour. This was all because of Melania, the Trump's wife, I should say, also launching a meme coin. This went from 0 to 12 billion in about 2 hours probably, and it was pretty wild. But as you can see, this has pulled back, a lot. I think people who bought this are 81% down now from the peak. Now, I think the Trump coin and the Melania coin are from two separate teams, so there is some sort of thing going on there. I feel like the Melania coin was slightly rushed, and I don't think they executed it very well. During the Melania, the chain was pretty much unusable. Transactions weren't going through, and I believe during this uprun, pretty much everything, especially in the Solana ecosystem, kind of performed really badly. Other than Sol itself and Melania, pretty much everything else was down only. Similar kind of thing with Trump, although the chain worked pretty well and was usable. It pretty much sucked out the liquidity out of everything, and then because of this, we've seen massive pullbacks in the AI space, but also pretty much everything across the board. Now, some people say this was great, right? We had 400,000 new kind of users coming on chain to buy these kind of coins, but Rob from Dragonfly here has written like a really interesting tweet, actually analyzing the data and seeing like how the actual usage of other crypto apps, the likes of Coinbase, Robinhood, Phantom, Kraken, MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, has gone down. And also, if we look at like Moonshot, yeah, sure, on the day of the launch, on the 18th, there was a lot of users, the 17th, 18th, but since then it's just been going down quite drastically as well, day by day. And if we look at like what their actions are, all of them are basically doing swaps on Jupiter. None of them are using anything else pretty much. And total crypto market cap has actually dropped since the launch, and so we haven't actually added any dollars. Rather, we've seen extraction from the space. And so with this in mind, is the Trump event or the Melania event good or not for the space? I'm leaning more towards not good, and this is because it's extreme speculation. We're somewhat in a casino, you could say, and I personally find it a bit of a shame, really, just kind of how things have ended up. Sure, lots of people did make money. I think those the people who were basically able to buy anything in the first 12 hours made money. Everyone else didn't make any money whatsoever. And so what we found is that we have a big concentration of wealth going to probably just a few people, really. And you can actually analyze some of these wallets and see how many millions some of these wallets have made. But anyway, that's up to them. I think the saddest thing really is that the new on-chain users are probably going to be in loss. I mean, I'm assuming these are the people who pretty much bought at the top, right? They're going to be in loss. They're not really going to be motivated to use other applications on chain. They're not already, as the data suggests. So yeah, I think in general, like, I'm not the most happy about kind of what's been going on. I think, does it accelerate us towards the end of the cycle? Possibly as well. I think these are just like, in my opinion, another sign that the end of the cycle is we're closer to the end rather than the beginning anyway, for sure. So that's pretty much what's been going on there in terms of Trump and Melania. I mean, would I be buying these coins? Absolutely not. I don't have any edge here, so for me it doesn't make any sense to kind of play these games as well. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say on this regard. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. I think Rob's tweet really goes to highlight like how activity is essentially in free fall, and this is not good. This is not good at all. Now, one thing that really did catch my attention was Jupiter, and that's because Jupiter, first of all, burnt a large amount of their supply, 3 billion Jupiter tokens, which is around $3 billion, and also mentioned that they were going to be using 50% of protocol fees to go and buy back Jupiter. Now, there are some things that I did want to kind of look into, and haven't really had a chance, but Jupiter makes a lot of money, and that's because Jupiter have a variety of sub-products. They have the exchange or the launch pad, you could say. They have the perps, they have fees that come from limit orders and DCAs and stuff like that. And just to give you an example, right? Jupiter take a 0.06% fee on notional size when it comes to their perps. And if you look, like Jupiter do like $2 billion in 24-hour volume. Like they've done $10 billion, $11 billion in the last week. Now, if we do like 0.06% of 2 billion, we're talking about $1.2 million that they make in revenue every single day. That's just from the perp side. Now, of course, like this is a lot. This is really a lot. Now, the vast majority of this ends up going to JLP, but that still leaves us with a large amount that ends up going into buybacks. Now, in terms of how often they're going to be doing these buybacks, I'm not too sure. They also announced this really well because they had the recent airdrop, which I'm sure many of you watching were able to get. If you haven't got your Jupiter airdrop, go and claim it now before it gets too late. But yeah, you can claim your airdrop, and I think Jupiter really made some noise, and I think this is like really interesting. Does it open the doors for other DeFi protocols to do buyback, especially buybacks, especially the ones that make a lot of revenue? The thing is, right, there aren't that many, there just aren't that many protocols that make this much revenue. So yeah, I think this one's very interesting one, and yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out on this, and we do have a small Jupiter airdrop, which I've chucked into the portfolio as well. In terms of what else has been happening, there's a new social app. In fact, I feel like SocialFi is kind of getting a bit of attention again. There's a few new applications that have come out. Triumph.run is just one of them, and one that I've basically been playing around with. I have a chat here, so you can kind of play around with it. Not financial advice. I don't know if any of these are going to end up doing well or not, but essentially what this is, it's an app where you can essentially buy shares of other people, and once you have, I believe, 10 shares or a certain amount, you get access to a chat room, and then you can kind of participate in that chat room, and you can speculate on the share price of these individuals as well. So you can see the prices of these shares here. If you buy, let's say if I click buy, I need to buy three soul worth to buy Frank the Gods. Obviously he's one of the more expensive ones, but of course if you go down, you'll be able to find some cheaper ones. You can of course search for people as well. So this one's pretty interesting. I will be kind of playing around with this a little bit more in due time. It's a much better version than Friendtech, as it seems, and it's on Solana as well. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with that. I think we're going to see a lot more of these SocialFi apps, and perhaps one of them is going to really get mainstream adoption. So this one's called Tribe.run. So yeah, I'll leave my invite in the description below, and you can sign up there if you want to. Yeah. Also, in terms of AI space, I mean, AI space as a whole is doing okay. Price-wise, not so okay, but like actual development and functionality-wise, doing better. And I think, a reset was due to some extent. I'm looking at kind of speculating on some potential assets that come from DAO's world. Haven't really decided which ones just yet. There's quite a few, but possibly we'll be adding to the portfolio in due time. And last but not least, the elephant in the room, Berachain have finally announced Boyco. And Boyco is essentially their kind of mainnet bootstrapping phase for the chain, where users can deposit assets such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins, as well as derivatives around them, across a variety of different applications like Kodiak, Dolomite, Origamis, these ones that I've mentioned on screen, and can kind of help to bootstrap the chain so that when the chain does go live day one, there's going to be a lot of TVL. Now, as of recording right now, well, when I actually took this screenshot, which was last night, there was about 2.1 billion deposited in Boyco and pre-deposit vaults. 2% of the entire bearer supply is going to go to Boyco rewards, and that's why you're seeing some pretty absolutely nuts APYs on the screen. Of course, this is going to get arbed in due time as the TVL goes up. But, you know, if we're anticipating Berachain to have like a 10 billion FTV, this is $200 million over 3 months. So these assets have to be locked for 1 to 3 months as well. So please bear that in mind. But we're talking, yeah, $200 million of bearer rewards. And then on top of that, you've got all of these different applications, Kodiak, Dolomite, Origami, whatever, all giving their own tokens. Plus, you've got the infrastructure providers, the likes of Enso, the likes of Royco themselves. Add that all up, you're looking at some pretty nice APRs. I'll probably do a more in-detail video kind of covering what my thoughts are in terms of my moon maths and kind of how much I think you could probably earn from this. So yeah, right now, actually the website is down. Let's refresh it and see if it comes back up. But yeah, it's down. There's just so much traffic on there right now. So that's probably why. But yeah, keep an eye out on this. Berachain is coming. And when Berachain goes live, it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with Berachain. I believe we're probably just a couple of weeks away from mainnet. Last but not least, we'll talk about the portfolio. As you can see, we've been absolutely wrecked over the last week. And that's because the market's just gone down quite a lot. I mean, if we actually look, we are down... Yeah, we're down what, like over 30%, 35% we're down, which is obviously not good, but you know, this is just kind of part of what happens when you're in crypto. This is why I said don't copy trade me. You know, I'm going to be completely wrong at times. So yeah, of course, nothing is financial advice. This is just the stuff that I hold right now. In terms of like what I'm going to be looking to do, of course, we got the Jupiter airdrop. There are a bunch of other protocols that I'm looking to kind of airdrop farm and have been airdrop farming, and I'm anticipating lots of TGEs in February. So I think in the month of February, we could probably double or triple the portfolio just from airdrops alone, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. I won't include airdrops that have been farming for the last, you know, a year plus, because that wouldn't be very fair, but more so some of the ones that I've been looking at more recently. AI wise, you know, I still like these assets. I still think they're fine, but of course the market doesn't appreciate them, which is the case across the board really. Will they get a bid again? I don't know, but I'm still kind of looking at holding these for now. If there are any specific changes to make, then yeah, I'll update the portfolio accordingly. You can track that in the description below. So yeah, nothing really I can do about it. This is just how the portfolio is right now. I will just keep planning on clicking, you know, really anticipating Berachain mainnet to go live, and I think we'll have lots of fun there. But otherwise, yeah, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with more videos in due time.